Hey guys, it's Woody the Unexceptional Gamer bringing you some free-for-all. And I talk about the game just a little bit to get started with. I'm using the FAD, which is a lot like the Commando from Black Ops. They're similar to me in that like the kick is really manageable. It'll stay on target when you get your shots. It does its thing, but like the Commando in Black Ops, it's a little bit weak. You know, I feel like if you and I start shooting at each other at the same time, I lose too many of those sort of, close call gunfights. Whereas when I use like the stronger weapons, like the FAMAS from Black Ops, or in this game a Type 95, then you win all those fair fights. Like, if we get on target and shoot at the same time, Type 95 wins, and you just sit there wondering like, what could I have possibly done better? Who knows? So FAD, not a bad gun like the Commando, but certainly not one of the game's top guns. In my hands anyway. We'll see if my opinion evolves over time. But, the other thing I want to talk about before I got into my real topic was the silencer. I feel like when I use the silencer, I have an easier time getting my kill streaks and calling them in and letting them do some work for me. But when I use the red dot, I have an easier time getting the gun traffic I need to, win the game. And so with the red dot, I don't know. They're 6 in one, half dozen in the other, I suppose. But I'm using the silencer in this game. And that helps me get my kill streaks and call them in and stay out of trouble. So what I wanted to talk about was sister wives. So first, a primer on TV in my house. We don't have one. Well, we have the physical TV thing. And look at me lose this. Look at me lose this. What happened there? So we have a physical TV, but what we don't have is like a cable or satellite service to feed the TV. Instead, we have Netflix. And I like that because it changes TV from this like constant background noise that never really ends to the house being a little more family focused. It was hard to get used to for a few days, but now it's just normal for the TV not to be running. And you go downstairs and you see the people in the house instead of the television in the house running like is this normal just 24/7 thing. So so that's what we do. Now when we do watch TV, it's this more like voted on scheduled event, and I guess my vote doesn't mean a crap because we've been watching a lot of Sister Wives lately. So Sister Wives, if you don't know, is this show about this guy named Cody. He started this season 1 with 3 wives, and he worked his way to 4. So he picked up a 4th wife during the show. And, each of the wives has their own pros and cons or whatever. But right now, as I watch the show, he's dealing with some trouble with the police. So the police are after this guy, and I'm not sure what laws he's actually breaking. So if you would ask me about polygamy before I saw this family, I would have been like, I don't know. Because in some polygamy cultures, polygamy means married to more than one wife. Which, by the way, a quick topic aside on that, you can have that. I've got one wife, and I love her. She's fantastic, but one is plenty. I don't even see the desire to have multiple wives. So anyway, he's having trouble with the police, and I don't even know what laws he's breaking because he has one wife technically, and the other 3 just live there, and he has all these kids are happy and everything's fine. So I don't know what he's doing wrong. They looked for like child abuse situations. So in the U.S., there's an issue in the polygamy culture, this is what I was trying to say before, where they were to sign like 13-year-old girls to be married to like 40-year-old men, and it was just gross and it was wrong, and they would consummate the marriage at that young age. Consummate, if you don't know, means they're having sex. And it was crazy, right? Who would give their 13-year-old daughter over to some adult to be like his who knows what that, and what kind of relationship does a 13-year-old and 40-year-old really have? Like, did they even see things on the same level? He's a pedophile. There's no other way to look at that. So that would be my problem with polygamy. But in this case, that's not the problem. All the women that he marries are like 25 and older, and at 25, like, hey, they're making their own adult choices. They're good to go. So who am I to pass judgment on this? And along with like the rest of my sort of moral stances, whether the okay or not okay stance has a lot to do with, are you hurting other people? So, the adults, they're totally fine, not a problem. The kids, well, they seem really devoted to raising the best kids that they know how to raise. And with that, no problem. And it even ties into my thoughts on gay marriage, right? Am I okay with gay people getting married? Yeah. Who's it hurting? It's not hurting anybody. Go knock yourselves out. Well, what about gay people raising kids? Well, who's it hurting? It seems like, gay couples are just as likely to raise the best children they know how to raise as heterosexual couples. So just knock yourself out. That's my take on this sort of thing. And I think it lines up with a lot of younger people's take on this. It seems like a lot of these like socially conservative viewpoints are going to be solved in like 15 years when everyone who's currently 65 and older just dies and stops voting. That's terrible. But Anyway, yeah, so the gay marriage thing, I'm also okay with that. But here's the rub. I started thinking to myself, so the polygamists, traditionally, and these people certainly, have a really strong religious bent to them, right? They're real spiritual people. They're approved, and you can see them in the show, like praying to God for advice on like daily matters, and they get a flat tire and they wonder if that's a sign from God that they shouldn't be doing what they're doing, and you know, so they're seriously into the spiritual thing. Fine, you know, do your thing, but it makes me wonder if these guys who are sort of struggling for polygamous rights, you know, struggling to make polygamy something that was accepted, and showing people how it can be more of a sane lifestyle, I bet that they are against gay marriage. I bet that they want all these people to accept their alternative marriage style, yet, and I'm making an assumption here because they're so strong in their religious views, that they're not okay with gay marriage. And in there, I see like a bit of a hypocritical type thing. And I don't like that. You know, I feel like, you know, look, if you're trying to advance this alternative marriage rights kind of stance, then you need to be okay with other alternative marriages too, not just you. Like, you know, what if I said, like, everyone whose name started with W should get, you know, no taxes? Well, that's obviously a bullshit stance, right? What the hell is that all about? Clearly, I'm you know, looking out for myself at the expense of you. If he's saying, you know, the alternative marriages are okay, but only my variety of alternative marriage, then that's just as bullshit as my people whose names start with W should pay no taxes stance. And yeah, so one of the things I learned about polygamy on this show, assuming you can learn anything from reality TV, is like the attraction of this, right? So it made me wonder, like, what kind of super Herculean amazing guy gets 4 women to marry him, right? You know, like, there's so many people around who, you know, just be happy if one woman married him, yet these women would prefer a quarter of him. Woody, if you shot right next to him, you'd have got him. But these women would prefer a quarter of him to a whole of, you know, most other guys. And what makes him so amazingly fantastic? And what I've come to realize, based on this reality show, is that part of the attraction to this polygamous lifestyle is not just the guy. Sure, he's a major piece of it, but a lot of it is the other women, right? And not the other women in the sexual sense, but the other women in this sense that, like, they want to be part of this family. They want to have sort of sisters in their grown-up life, these sister wives. They find, you know, a large family with, like, you know, 3, or in this case 4 women to share the household duties, and, you know, whether that be bringing income or handling the dishes or whatever that the women are doing in this family. They like having sister wives, and I can kind of sort of see where they're coming from. Like, I see the relationship that these wives have with each other very much like sisters do. By the way, they're not doing threesomes and stuff all the time. It's very much like a sister relationship that they wanted to carry into their adult lives. And I see that, and I think, you know what? That even seems kind of reasonable. Like, I can get why somebody would pick this. So yeah, that's Sister Wives, the TV show. And that's the attraction that would bring a woman into the polygamous lifestyle. It's not just about this guy being 4 times better than a normal guy. It's about them liking, you know, the sort of the, you know, the sisterhood going all the way into their adult lives. And that's it. They all live under one roof and do their thing. So I'm curious, what is your take on gay marriage? What is your take on polygamy? You think this is an okay thing? To me, like I said earlier, you know what? If you're not hurting anyone else, knock yourself out and have a good day. All right, a couple of solid videos you may have missed. Up top, I talk about the need for a new patch in Modern Warfare 3 and you know, some of the work that they've done and the issues around it. At the bottom, I talk about engagement encounter, which was this thing that I did with my wife right before we got married to sort of share thoughts and feelings. And I tell you guys what it was like, and yeah, I thought it was a pretty good video. So if you enjoyed this, subscribe, top right, surprise video on the right, links to t-shirts, Facebook, and Twitter in the description, and have a nice day.